This is the SuitUp room, a historic room inside the operations and checkout building at the Kennedy Space Center, where astronauts have been getting ready for launch, going all the way back to Apollo 7, and then in this building, back to Gemini 3. And here comes Crew-4 down the hallway.
All right.
On the left, Bob Hines. On the right, Kjell Lindgren, giving a good wave.
With those smiles.
There they are.
There they are.
Countdown 1. Right,
the astronauts of Crew-4 getting ready to go to space, taking their first steps outside. From left to right, Jessica Watkins, Bob Hines, Kjell Lindgren, and Samantha Cristoforetti.
Oh, what do we got here?
1, 2, 3, 4!
Nice.
And a cheer before they go off to space.
This is one of my favorite moments when the crew gets to first look up at their rocket ready to go.
That's Kjell Lindgren and Bob Hines giving a look, and
That's right.
Bob looks a little giddy.
Yeah, he's pretty excited. Look at that rocket. Yep, I like that sort of characteristic, the lean back, the look up together. It's a good look.
And the wave as they get ready to get into the elevators to ride up.
There's that bend back look again. There should be a name for that move.
Samantha and Jessica there. It's Bob Hines and Kjell Lindgren. We see them inside, and the shot to the left from the outside.
Love that shot.
And here come Jessica and Samantha. They'll
Big
walk down the
smiles.
crew access arm with broad smiles. The closeout crew there in the white room appears to have the hatch shut, and now they're checking for leaks.
So great, we got an amazing shot of the crew access arm retracting away from the Dragon capsule. So again, this is going to take a few minutes to fully retract, and then the next major activity is going to be arming that launch escape system of the Dragon vehicle. So far, weather and range continue to be go for launch. We are monitoring the clearance area around the launch pad as well as air and sea space around the flight corridor.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. And liftoff. Go Falcon. Left freedom range. Gunning speed. Crew-4. Vehicle is pitching downrange. Copy 1 Alpha.
Freedom soars and the Dragon flies forth. Vehicle already pitching downrange. All 9 Merlin engines have
Stage
lit.
1 propulsion is nominal.
Getting good performance on stage 1 propulsion already.
We are T plus 35 seconds into the 4th rotational crew mission on board Dragon and the Falcon 9. The 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage are beginning to throttle down.
Stage 1 throttle down.
In preparation for max Q. This is where the vehicle will experience the highest amount of aerodynamic pressures, so we'll throttle down the engines in preparation for that event.
Vehicle is supersonic.
All right, so we've passed the speed of sound. We're already
Max Q.
And there's our call out for max Q.
Stage 1 throttle up.
So right after max Q, we will begin to throttle those engines up again.
Copy 1 Bravo.
And 1 Bravo, so we're in the second and final abort mode for the first stage. Continuing to get good performance though. The crew already pulling in excess of 2 Gs. And coming up next is going to be a couple of events in rapid succession.
Yep, in about 10 seconds here, we're going to be performing engine chill on the second stage MVAC engine. And then in about a minute, we're going to start off with MECO, also known as main engine cutoff. This is where those 9 engines that you're seeing ignite on, being lit up on screen, those are going to cut off
And
in
MVAC's
preparation
chilling.
for stage separation, where the first and second stages will separate from one another, and then the single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will ignite and continue to carry our Crew-4 astronauts to orbit.
Heard that MVAC chill has started.
Stage 1 throttle down.
The 9 Merlin engines starting to throttle down. And standing by for MECO.
And MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
Right. So MECO, stage separations confirmed.
Stage 2 Alpha.
And ignition.
You see that
Copy,
second
2 Alpha.
stage engine light. We're in 2 Alpha, the second abort mode. The second stage is lit, continuing to carry the Crew-4 astronauts onto orbit.
And this is a fantastic view. On the left-hand side, this is the first stage, now separated from the second stage, but it's still being illuminated by that single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage on the right-hand side of your screen. So right now, the first stage is making its way back to Earth to attempt its 4th landing on our drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas. The crew is on the opposite side of the engine that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. They are continuing with their journey to outer space.
Seeing good performance on that lone Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage. The cruise G-load dips right when we hit that separation event, and it's going to continue to build up now. Just heard acquisition of signal Bermuda. That means we're
Dragon,
now
SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Freedom copies, nominal trajectory.
That was our guidance, navigation, and control officer. Nominal trajectory. Dragon's pointed in the right direction, continuing its flight to orbit. We heard Bermuda called out. That's one of the ground stations now receiving telemetry from the Dragon as it continues its path uphill. So we'll have the dueling boxes here for a while as the first stage makes its way down. That second stage going to continue firing until about a little over 8 minutes into the flight. Doing the heavy lifting now.
The first stage has a couple of events itself in order to land on our drone ship. So at T plus 7 minutes and 25 seconds, it's going to start its entry burn. It's going to be 1 of 2 burns. This is where 3 of the 9 Merlin
Dragon,
engines
SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
on the first stage will relight and burn for about 30 seconds in order to slow the vehicle down before hitting the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere.
Acquisition signal, New Hampshire.
All right, now on the New Hampshire ground station, another call out there from our guidance, navigation, and control officer, nominal trajectory. Second stage continues to power. Call out just then, propulsion is nominal, the engine performing as expected. Crew pulling a little more than 1.25 Gs right now. Again, that's going to continue to ramp up, peaking just before we get to that second stage cutoff.
Yep, this single engine here, Dan, can produce over 220,000 pounds of thrust in the vacuum of space, so they are definitely feeling it.
We're already about 200 kilometers in altitude.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Freedom copies, nominal trajectory.
Great call out that we are headed in the direction that we need to, and we just heard from Kjell, the commander.
And we should get one more of those trajectory check-ins in about 30 seconds from now. And then we'll start to hit our events in rapid succession as the first stage continues to make its way back home. The second stage will start to wrap up its job of delivering these astronauts into orbit.
Yeah, we don't see it on screen right now, but the first stage is making its way back to our drone ship in about...
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
In about 30 seconds here, it's going to start its entry burn.
Freedom copies, nominal trajectory.
And there was the other call out that you were mentioning, Dan, about the trajectory. Things, again, continuing to look very, very good for the ascent portion.
Stage 2, flight termination system.
So for those just joining us,
Stage
we
1,
are
entry burn startup.
just under 8 minutes into flight. We have 4 astronauts as part of the Crew-4 operational mission. You can see on the left-hand side, this is our first stage with 3 of 9 Merlin engines reignited and slowing down the first stage before we hit the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere. So this first stage has one more burn left.
Burn shutdown.
That's going to happen just before the T+9 minute mark, and then we'll attempt landing for the 4th time on our drone ship that's currently parked in the Atlantic Ocean.
So as that entry burn completes,
Terminal guidance.
we're in the final stages of the second stage's flight into orbit. We're about to pass through several of the different abort phases, which essentially correspond to areas along the very northeastern seaboard of the U.S. and then across the Atlantic and off the coast of Scotland. But continuing to get call-outs that Stage 2 propulsion is nominal.
Copy, Shannon.
And the call-out of Shannon, Ireland, that's
Stage 1 transonic.
indicative of our final abort zone.
And after this second stage engine shuts off its engine, we are going to be listening for the confirmation of a good orbit, which tells us that the Crew and Dragon are where they need to be in
Stage
orbit.
1 landing burn.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
And
that was the call out that we wanted on the second stage. Here's a fantastic view.
We're glad to be in orbit.
Of the
Dragon,
first stage.
SpaceX launch escape system is disarmed.
Fantastic view of the first stage.
Deployed.
Landing legs have been deployed, returning back to Earth for a 4th time. And just like that, a 4th landing as part of the Crew-4 mission. You can hear the applause behind us. But prior to this,
Acquisition signal, Newfoundland.
we saw the crew, we heard that the crew has been successfully inserted into a good orbit, and this is them in 0G, and 2 of them for the first time.
And getting a look, it looks like we might have a couple of 0G indicators. I see a turtle in Bob Hines' hands. That is the nickname for the astronaut class from 2017, of which he and Jessica Watkins were a part. I believe we've got a monkey floating over by Samantha Cristoforetti. But first view of Crew-4 on orbit, experiencing microgravity. They're still attached to that second stage, which at this point is going to continue to coast for a couple of minutes. It's got small reaction control thrusters on the upper part of the second stage that can be used to cancel out rates, essentially making sure that they're on a stable coast before we get to that separation event, after which we'll see Dragon Freedom flying free for the first time.
We've got, a couple of stowaways. The Turtle class really does seem to be taken over now with a Turtle 0G indicator.
All right, we should be just about a minute away from that separation, after which a number of activation checkouts occur automatically. First, checking out 12 of those Draco maneuvering thrusters all around the service section of the Dragon capsule. We'll also start to get ready for the nose cone opening, which it stays closed for the flight uphill to help protect all of those guidance, navigation, and control sensors. It's also covering 4 of the Draco thrusters that we're going to be using for providing the majority of the thrust, the push for these different phasing burns as Dragon chases down the space station. But all right, standing by for separation.
So typically we'll get a shot from the second stage looking at the unpressurized service section of the Dragon. And there it is. What a magnificent view.
And looking like a good separation, good rates.
Wallops and
Dragon Freedom flying free for the very first time. So again, now those